Today I'm going to be reviewing the book, The Wonderful Decree by Dr. Travis Campbell. And so Dr. Campbell, he's written this important work on the decree of God. He starts off by telling this moving story of his wife dying, and he articulates that this is what has pressed him into studying and examining the scriptures. And his story will grip every reader as they seek to search through these truths with him throughout the rest of the book. He then addresses some holdbacks to Calvinism, but sees that suffering strengthens faith on page 11, that good has come from her death, his wife's death on page 14, and the existence of God deals with evils and sufferings on page 16. So he then walks through various challenges to the decree of God, from theism to polytheism to pantheism and atheism. And he describes each term and shows the differences that exist between each term. He then discusses compatibilism and libertarianism. And Dr. Campbell defines the doctrine of election in this work. And he says that election is compatible with love. That's on page 71. He gives one of the best biblical cases for the doctrine of election and just walks through the scriptures. And his story at the beginning is worth the price of this book. It's worth getting this book and put it in your library. But this is just one of the most helpful and soul-stirring arguments for understanding biblical election that I've ever read. So he just walks through the scriptures and just lays out the doctrine of election very well. And then as he moves forward throughout this book, he gives a critique of Arminianism and then continues to give a strong case for unconditional election. He spends some time discussing infralapsarianism and superlapsarianism. And then he says that God's love is an act of free grace on page 220. And then he shows how the decree of God is incompatible with Molinism. And then he ends this work with an epilogue. So I think his wife's story will move you as you read it. And it's compelling, provoking, and you will be moved by it. But then the way he walks through the doctrines of election and God's care is just a great book, helpful book, and it's very well written. So I know this book is available on Amazon. It's also available on LexhamPress.com. So it's The Wonderful Decree by Dr. Travis Campbell.